There are some conversations that don't end when the camera stops rolling, they grow. And a year ago, we sat down with a woman whose story was already powerful, but it was only the beginning. As we celebrate the 1 year anniversary of giving them something to talk about, we're checking back with some voices that left a mark. Tanisha J. Wardford is an attorney, an advocate, and a voice for those navigating some of life's most sensitive moments. With years of experience inside the probate court system, before becoming an attorney, she brings both knowledge and understanding to everything she does. She's the founder of Pure Gold Advocacy Law Firm, a name that reflects exactly who she is, because gold doesn't shine without pressure. And this past year, it's been just that: growth, refinement, and expansion. So today, this isn't just a Where Are They Now episode. This is the continuation of a story still being written. Let's get into it. Tenisha, welcome to the show. Welcome back.
Hello, I'm so happy to be back. And that intro was like, it's so cute. I was like, okay, who would like to hear what this girl has to say?
Yes, I'm so glad you came back to be with us because, when we heard you in church, my husband said, "Oh, you got to get Tanisha. You got to get Tanisha right away." So I was already on it. I'm on my stuff. But yes. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. Again, welcome back to the show, giving them something to talk about. A year later, how does this season of your life feel compared to the last time we sat down?
Excuse me. A year later, it's been a year that is crazy to think about, but so much has happened in that year. And a year later, this season of my life compared to where I was last year when we spoke, honestly, it feels like I'm living a dream, right? Like I feel fulfilled. I'm living what I've envisioned, what I wanted to do. It's really beyond my expectations. So really, I feel like I'm living in a dream. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if you had to introduce yourself today, not by a title, but by who you become, what would you say?
I would say Tanisha, who is living in her destiny. She's found her place where God created her to be. Like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.
You certainly are. I just remember our conversation from last year. You had mentioned all of these things, and now they have pretty much come to fruition. So, what has this past year taught you about yourself that you didn't know before?
Well, I have been challenged. I have been stretched. I've been refined. I've been through so many different processes, but they weren't all bad processes, right? So professionally, it has taught me that there was not a perfect package that existed for me. I think I was searching for like the perfect place, the perfect position, the perfect law firm, right? And this season has taught me that I can create my own position. Like I don't have to find somewhere to fit in. Like the Lord said, no, I have a place for you. So I think that's what I learned. And honestly, what I've also learned is that I belong in the criminal defense space. And if you knew anyone that I went to law school with, that was at the absolute bottom of my list. Like everybody's like, "What you want to do? Criminal? Nothing related to criminal law at all." But I got an opportunity, and I absolutely love it. So I'm like, God is funny, right? That was something that I was running away from. And he said, no, I'm going to open this door. You're just going to step right here. The door is going to open and it's going to be just for you. And that's what happened.
That's amazing because we tell God our plans, but he has something totally different in mind. Criminal law.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. So what's something people may have seen publicly that didn't reflect what you were actually walking in or through privately?
I think publicly, a lot of people say like, oh, like it looks like everything's so easy for you, right? Like it looks like, oh, this is just happening. Everybody, they see the highlights, but people don't really see what's going on behind the scenes. So behind the scenes, it's a lot on me. Like I'm tired a lot. Like my kids are getting bigger. They are in sports. I'm a homeowner. I've had some backups in my basement, had to redo, so those types of things that people don't really see, like the nitty gritty, and just what it took to choose to walk away from a position that was paying my bills anyway. Like, they didn't know what was going on behind the scenes, so they see like, oh, you got a new job, that must be great, but behind the scenes, it was terrible. It was terrible walking into that place every day. I absolutely hated it.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna get into that too. And from my vantage point, except for one point, I'm not gonna get into that, but you always look like you have it together, especially with your children, and not that you didn't have it even when you were going through, you always presented yourself with strength. Even going through, and I know you were in a higher trial with that job, but you still presented yourself in a manner where people could still look up to you, because didn't nobody know what you were going through but you, because I didn't know. I knew you were going through something, but didn't know what. So was there a moment this year where you felt stretched beyond what felt comfortable?
Absolutely. And we can just talk about that position concisely for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
So it was insurance defense, right? Which was I was switching gears from probate anyway. Probate is my bread and butter. I worked at probate. I worked in the probate court for 8 years before even going to law school. So like, I'm always gonna hold that near and dear to me. So I was doing some independent like guardian ad litem work while working in this new insurance defense firm, which is okay. Let me keep my foot out there in probate world and stuff like that. But I felt like I was being hazed or something. Like the immediate supervisor that I worked for, or the attorney that I worked directly underneath, just did not. I don't think she liked me much. And so, and I guess what I'm hearing these days, that I don't present, like, people wouldn't assume my age, right? So I think she may have thought I was very young and naive or whatever, but she would just treat me a certain kind of way that I didn't. It wasn't.
Was it disrespectful?
I wasn't conducive to like a productive. No, it was not respectful at all. But I was going through, with God. I'm like, okay, maybe this is what I need to do to get to my next, right? Very conscious of what the purpose of that was for. And so I would come in like, oh, good morning. What do you need me to do today? Just really forcing myself to present as if everything was okay.
Professional.
So what it came, but she kept. So she was like an executive partner, and then she reported to the big partner. She was telling me to this man all the time. He would be emailing me, like, mind you, I worked there for like 7 weeks. Okay, I was not there for long at all. So for this man, the shareholder, to be emailing me 3 and 4 times about what? Oh, your hours are low. Yeah, I'm brand new. I'm trying to learn what I'm supposed to do. She's not telling me how to do it. She's just telling me what to do. So I'm spending way too much time on assignments. I can't bill for all of it. You know what I mean? So it was just like, the system was like racked up against me, right? So the final straw for me, honestly, was this day. She was like, you have to do this today. And it's due tomorrow, but I was off the following day because I have to volunteer at my kids' school, blah, blah, blah. I had time on the calendar. As soon as I started, I already knew. These are the days I won't be available. Okay. So she gave me a crazy, humongous discovery assignment that was due the day that I was not going to be working. And so it was just a mess. So I stayed up. Mind you, she's not telling me what to do, how to do it. I stayed up all night to 2 o'clock in the morning trying to get this done.
Did they know that you didn't know the information?
They knew that I did not come from an insurance defense background, that I came straight from probate. Everything that I was learning there was going on a clean slate. So I'm just learning. So it wasn't like, here, Tenisha, this is how you do this. It was like, this is what you need to do. And I'm like, okay, so let me go research this law. Let me go research that. You know what I mean? But I was learning, and I love to learn. So I was like, okay, it was taking me longer to do things, but I was still getting them done. So anyway, apparently what was done was not done to her liking. So when I returned to work on Thursday, okay, that was a Tuesday. I did not work on Wednesday. Thursday I came back to work, and She wanted me to do something else. Like, oh, this has to be done today. I'm like, okay. Mind you, I am a licensed attorney.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a brand new attorney. I'm familiar with working with support staff,
Mm-hmm.
paralegals, and legal assistants, etc. So
Mm-hmm.
some of the stuff she wanted me to do it wasn't really attorney work. So I'm like, what can make my life easier and what can help us get this done today? Hey, paralegal, can you help me with these facets? Just need you to pull this out for me, put it in this place so I can do what I need to do.
Right.
She found out that, I guess she went to ask the paralegal. I don't know. She found out that I had asked the paralegal for help. She called me in her office. Why is the paralegal doing something that I told you to do? Well, no, she's not doing everything you told me to do. She's only going to help me with this part so that I can give you that. You don't need to give the paralegals work. The paralegals work for the partners, not for you.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So it was just stuff like that. So at that
Mm-hmm.
moment, I was like, okay. Like, I was just, and I left out of her office. Within minutes, I have an email from the big boss. Like,
Mm-hmm.
come see me. So I'm thinking he's about to talk about this paralegal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I go in his office, and and every time I would go meet with him or her, I would have my little legal pad and a pen, right? Because they would just be shooting off stuff that you're never
Mm-hmm.
going to remember all of it. So I'm just constantly writing down. I mean, I felt like, have you ever seen Suits before? Or
No.
any lawyer show where, like, the new associates come in and they treat them terrible. They give
Oh,
them the
boy.
crap jobs. Like, they just treat them terrible. This is
Oh, that's real
how I
life.
felt like. That was real life for me. And so I go in there, I'm like, hey. He's like, how's it going? I'm like, I'm like, you tell me, because I keep getting caught in your office.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, I want to talk about what happened yesterday. I'm like, I wasn't in yesterday. No. He's like, well, imagine how I felt to look for you yesterday when you had an assignment due and you weren't here. And you almost caused the firm to commit malpractice. Do you understand that? I said,
What?
no, I don't. He said, excuse me? You're not going to take accountability for your actions? If you do not take accountability for your actions and try to blame what you failed to do on somebody else, I will fire you on the spot. I was like, blink, blink. I said,
No, please.
okay,
Fire
okay.
you on the
You know what I
spot.
mean? Because
What?
what is happening right now? And he was just like, like he was going on and on and on. And I was really in shock that he was speaking to me that way.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, he said that, that was very striking to me. And I have my notes because at some point I started writing down what he was saying, like,
Mm-hmm.
asterisk, asterisk. And he was like, it sounds like, because I was like, no, it wasn't my responsibility. Everything that I do has to be approved by her. I did what I was supposed to do and I gave it to her. So if she
Mm-hmm.
waited to the last minute to get it to me and she, it wasn't perfect, that's not really on me, you know what I mean? And he just wasn't trying to hear it. He was like, if it's going to come down between you and her, I'm choosing her. She bills double what you bill daily. As she should. She's been here for 7 years. I've been here for 7 weeks. Okay, like,
Wow.
we're not in competition. And so he was like, it sounds like you made an assumption. And you know what they say about people who assume? I said,
You
no,
did
I
not.
don't. What do they say? What they say?
Oh.
And he was
Oh.
like, well, that may be inappropriate, but it just means that
You
you assumed
think?
something that you shouldn't have. And so he was going, and at first, my posture, right, is girly. I'm sitting here, I have my legs crossed, but at some point I uncrossed my legs and I put my hands flat on my legs, and I said,
Mm-hmm.
okay, Don.
Mm-hmm.
Oops, sorry, you can block out his name. But I said, okay,
I ain't blowing
like
out his name.
you, oh, I was like, okay, Don. And so when my posture changed,
Mm-hmm.
then he softened up, and I really did believe that I saw like evil in his eyes, right, while he was
Mm-hmm.
talking. And at that
Mm-hmm.
moment, I had a lump in my throat
Mm.
because I've never been spoken to. Like, I'm 40 years old. My parents don't talk to me like that. My husband didn't talk to me like that. My next husband is not going to talk to me like that.
Will
You know what I
not.
mean? Like, there's no way. Nobody, like, what? Like, this is not
Mm-hmm.
appropriate.
At
And so I
all.
had a lump in my throat.
Mm.
And but in my mind I was just like, Tanisha, you better not cry. Like, you better not cry. A tear better not fall. Like,
Mm.
hold it together. So I held it and I'm just looking at him like, okay. And he was like, well,
Mm.
we just need to communicate better. We have to communicate better, and this is what we're gonna have to do. You're gonna have to be in here every day because, mind you, I have children. I have 2 children who are in elementary school. This was, remember, you may not know, but like schools were closing a lot because of the temperatures. It was
Yes,
very cold outside,
I
and
remember.
so in that regard, I'm a single mom. My children live in my house. I
Mhm.
can't come to work and leave my kids here all day. But we
Mhm.
have laptops. I have the capability to work remotely. So I'm working remotely, but I'm still working. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
So, anyway, that was the day. And I was just like, yeah, no. So I called my mom after I left, and like in talking about what happened, like I got emotional. And so then I called my best friends. Excuse me, it's kind of cold in my basement. When I called my best friend cousins, and we were talking, and I was just like, this is crazy. And they were going to move my office. Okay, my office was so cute. It had like a big 3-pane, like one wall was all windows. It was, like so cute, high up. I was out in Troy. It was, I had a nice view.
Mhm.
They were moving my office to some office right by her, small little 1-pane window. And when
Mm.
they told me that same day, I was just like, this is nuts. But you know what also happened that day? Is
What?
I got a text message that day. So it's okay. We might as well. But I want to talk about what happened that day in addition to this. But all of this happened in the same day, which is very important for
So
me.
is that what
And
drove you to start your firm, or is this
absolutely.
what you
So
about to tell me though? Is that before you started your firm, or is
no, so I
intertwined?
had already had the vision of starting my own firm. Like I knew that that's something that I wanted to do. I believe
Mhm.
God told me what to do, and He gave me a name for it last year. So
Mhm.
actually, like the paperwork and all of that, my business was founded in May of 2025. So I had it, I just wasn't using it.
Mhm.
So this day when I came home, and I was talking to my cousins, and I was sitting at my table, and I just was like in shock, and I just could see like stuff in my head, like like really for real, like I'm about to go move my office from this office next to her. Like I feel like I'm getting demoted. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? It was
Mhm.
a lot going on,
They
and
try to
the
promote your
Lord,
spirit. Mhm.
absolutely. And when I left out of his office, I was like, okay, thank you. You know what I'm saying? I was still professional, still smiling and all that, but inside I was on fire.
Oh,
Okay.
good. Mhm.
So when I got home, I was on the phone, and they were like, "What?" Like he said, "What?" Because he was tripping, and I saw myself, packing up my office to go down the hall, and I'm like, and God, in that thought, He said, "No, you're moving your office, but you're bringing your stuff here. Like you're
Mm.
moving out of there altogether."
Wow.
And I was like, I think I'm about to quit. And they was like, absolutely quit. Because that's what everybody was already saying. Like, you need to
Mhm.
quit. But it's like, okay,
Okay, you gonna
like,
pay?
you feel me?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I do need to quit. But,
Yes.
like, I have bills. Like, my
Mhm.
children go to private school. I have tuition to pay, which is an additional
Mm.
bill that I didn't even have to have. So I'm just having all of these thoughts. Like,
Mhm.
why did I put them in private school? Because if I didn't put them in private school, then maybe I could make this happen for these many months. You know what I'm saying? Just all of this
Mhm.
stuff. And God was like, go clean out your office.
Mm.
And I cleaned out my office that evening, like literally that night. I went to go clean out my office, and I was like, well, this is it. This is it. But that same day, so I was working with a girl who we went to law school together. So we were friends prior to this job. She started like 3 weeks before me. And
Mhm.
so we would talk, and I had told her very early on, like, yeah, boo, I'm not going to be here long because this
Mhm.
is like, boo, tomatoes. This is not. And she was like,
Wait a
no,
minute. Wait.
yes,
Hold on, Tanisha. Wait. Is she still there?
no.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
She's no longer there either. Um, and that her transition was recent. I think she started working there like literally last week. But
Okay.
that's like they really do go through people. They go through people like it's a revolving door, which I didn't know. I'm just like, hey, I'm leaving this firm. I'm making more money. I'm learning something. I'm gonna add this to my toolbox. You know what I'm
Always
saying?
positive.
Yeah, I was just like excited to be learning something new.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so I was talking to her, and I'm like, hey, I'm not gonna be here long. And she was like, no, we gotta stick it out together, whatever. But I was doing my guardian ad litem stuff on the side, right? But then
Mhm.
found out, oh, they don't do fee splits. So like I'm doing this work on the side, but 100% of what I was making independently would go to the firm. Even I had clients leave my old firm and they came with me. 100% of what they paid went to the firm and not to me. And it was up to the
Mm.
firm to decide, like, oh, you did well this quarter or whatever, we're gonna give you a bonus, right? But it's literally up to the discretion of the firm. I
Is
didn't
that
look
with
into it
every law
because
firm?
no, it's not with every law
Okay.
firm
Okay.
because my former law firm, I mean, he did try that at the beginning, but then in talking to other people in the field, because again, I'm not new to the field, I know
Hmm.
a lot of attorneys and judges, and they were like, "Girl, that's crazy. You need to tell him blah blah blah." So I had renegotiated my contract with him, um, which he ended up not living up to. That's why I left that firm because he was like, "Oh, yeah,
Hmm.
we're gonna do this and this and that." And he played me at the end, and I was like, "Yeah, no, we're not gonna do that."
And
But
that's who you
anyway,
were with last year, correct?
right, yep.
Okay.
And so I
Now stop.
renegotiated.
I
hmm
want you to tell us about the guardian ad litem. What does that mean?
Okay, so that means a guardian ad litem is an independent party. And I am essentially the eyes and ears of the court. So in probate court, if ever there is a guardianship petition filed for or conservatorship, so guardianships deal with um, medical, the medical side of things. Conservatorships deal with the financial sides of things. And so, for in the event that a guardianship or conservatorship is filed for an adult, the court will appoint a guardian ad litem to go out and basically investigate the merits of the petition or the
Okay.
allegations to say like, is this person really in the hospital? Is this person aware that this petition has been filed? Do they know this person? Are they in agreement with this, or do they object? And
Hmm.
so I would just go out, speak to the petitioner. Hey, you filed this petition. This is your mom. This is your sister, etc. Then I'll talk to the person. Sometimes the alleged ward, they're in the hospital. I've seen people, who are unconscious, so they can't talk to me, but at least I know that okay, what is in the petition is actually true. And then
Okay.
I write a written report to the court, and then I appear in court and testify as to what my report says. And then also for minors, they also appoint guardian ad litems and for minors as well.
Okay. So that's
So
where the
if a minor
advocacy
gets
comes
more,
in.
yeah. So like I'm advocating really. So in that form, I am an independent party, and so I'm really advocating on the behalf of the individual who is named in the pleadings.
Got
So
it.
like I just tell the court like, hey, Your Honor, I believe that this petition should be granted or it should not be. And I've
Okay.
had to recommend that some stuff be denied because,
Mm.
yeah.
Okay. Well, I want you to go back now to the young lady, your friend
Okay,
that you were
yes.
talking to.
Okay.
So go back there.
So yes, my friend, I'm telling her like, hey, I'm not gonna be here long. Like this isn't gonna work
Hmm.
because no. And then she would see the stuff that was going on, and she was like, this is crazy. Like 10, they call me, my law school friends call me 10. Like this is
I like
crazy.
that. Okay.
Okay. So she's like, and it came from college. Like my people at Michigan State called me 10 too. So like,
Oh,
I guess
love
my connection.
it. So that's
But
a
so she like this
10. Like you a
10, yeah,
10.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely right. And so when I go to like restaurants and stuff, they be like, "What's your name?" I always say 10, like Ten. And Peyton be like, "My daughter, why do you always say that?" I'm like, "Because that's my name.
I love
My
it.
name is Tenisha." But
Ah, it is, but okay.
right, my kids will get me together real quick.
Yeah.
But so I'm telling her like, "Look, I'm not gonna be here." So she knew that. And then in the interim, it's just so many moving pieces. I had gotten on because you know how guardian ad litems, there's a list for that. So you get on
Hmm.
a list. So it's
Hmm.
like randomly selected. The court will appoint you. They're like, oh, which guardian ad litem can I appoint here? So I know other attorneys, right? They're like, you can just do that, or you need to get on all these different types of lists so that you can make your own money and you don't have to really work for anyone, right? And I'm
Okay.
like, okay. So last year, it was like in the fall, I got on another list, and it was like a criminal law list. So it was I would be able to represent indigent individuals with tier 4 felonies, right?
Tier
Mind you,
four means what? They at the top of the
like
top of the problem.
no, the lowest type of
Okay.
felony,
Okay.
right? Because I had no criminal experience at all. So my
Hmm.
friend suggested this, and I'm like, they're not gonna approve me to be on that list. Like I don't have any experience. And she's like, well, just try, because like this is something that you could do. That you could get on the list to like hear tickets and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, let me see. So I applied for this list, right? I applied for one in Wayne County and Oakland County. Oakland County just came back and flat out was like, do you have any experience at all in addition to what you wrote on your application? I'm like, no. She's like, okay, well, instead of us denying you, would you consider like rescinding your application? And I'm like, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Rescinded my application in Oakland County. Wayne County reached out and said, hey, thank you so much for applying. It doesn't look like you have any experience, but what have you done that would, transfer here? Do you have any transferable skills? What have you done in your guardian ad litem work or in your probate advocacy work? Have you represented any kind of, like, what have you done that is a transferable skill? What have you lost? What have you won? How did it shape you? How do you think about it, etc.? So I wrote my little blurb and stuff, and I got approved to be on this list with no criminal experience, right? And so eventually I start getting assignments, and I'm like, yikes! Like, I have an assignment to represent a person with the tier 4 felony. I don't know what I'm doing. So I contacted them like, hey, I think I'm gonna just push pause on this for a moment, because I didn't want anybody. I wasn't ready. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying? I know I have friends who worked in that area, in that sector, but I was like, I didn't know what to do, and I didn't want to be depending on somebody else 100%. When this is like literally attached to me, this is my client, my bar number, right? But then also, I couldn't take the assignments anyway working at the insurance defense firm. It
Okay.
would probably have been a complete conflict. We were doing insurance defense, now you want to add criminal defense, and then they would have been getting paid anyway. And then the county is like, we are not paying an employer, we'll be paying you. So, I got approved on this list of tier 4 felony defenders. And I just wasn't ready for that. But I wouldn't have been able to do it anyway because I was working at a firm, and the
Mm-hmm.
county of Wayne was very specific about not paying law firms. They have to pay the attorneys individually. So I was conflicted even in that. I couldn't do it. So I'm like, I'm not ready yet. So that was like the week prior to all of this happening. So then, or maybe it was the same week. It happened very fast. So that was on Wednesday. I got my first assignment on a Wednesday. It probably was that week, actually. Honestly, it was that week. That Wednesday, I got in my first assignment. I couldn't do it. Friday, I go to work and I'm like, um, hey, telling my coworker like, yeah, so this is not gonna work. And I'm like, I started getting assignments over there, but like, I'm not gonna be able to do it while I'm still here. Like, I'm gonna, everything. Honestly, all roads were leading to me just taking a plunge, right? Because
Mm.
everything I wanted to do, I wouldn't have been able to do working for another employer. And so I just kept coming back to that realization, like, am I going to, like, I'm going to keep running into this problem, right? So even if I go to an employer and they're like, hey, we're going to do this fee split thing for you, there's I wouldn't be able to do whatever type of law that I wanted to do, because law firms, they carry malpractice insurance, and their insurance obviously only covers what they specialize in. They aren't going to cover me for all this other stuff. And I
Okay.
was able to do guardian ad litem work like that because, like, you don't have, legally in the state of Michigan, you don't have to have malpractice insurance to be like the individual party. Now, if I'm court appointed, I have to have malpractice insurance. So all those
Wait,
technicalities
wait, blah, blah,
matter.
blah, blah. Okay, so
Okay.
individual, you don't have to have malpractice insurance, but if
No,
you
not to
court
be
appointed,
individual.
why?
So, like, if I'm an independent party, I'm representing the court, right? I'm going out and I'm saying, hey, I looked at this, I looked at that. Well, I would say Wayne County for sure does not require you don't have to have malpractice insurance because I'm not representing anybody. Like,
Okay.
the people aren't going to be able to come back and say, like, hey, my guardian ad litem did this wrong, because I'm not representing them. All I'm doing is I'm talking to them and I'm going to the court to say this is what happened. Now, when I'm court appointed counsel, which does happen. So let's say somebody says, hey, I don't want a guardian. I object. And I'm not the guardian ad litem on that case. The court can say, hey, Tanisha, I have this case over here where the ward is objecting to having a guardian. Would you represent them? And so in that regard, I am court appointed attorney of the person. So I have
Mm.
to have malpractice insurance in case anything happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm
Doesn't
going to be
that
on the
cost a
court.
fortune?
Malpractice, it doesn't. So it's not. So depending on, so I have some, and like my policy for this year is probably like $1,200 for the year. So it's not a fortune. So it's
Okay,
not monthly. You know what I'm
that's
saying? So
good.
it's affordable, and you can shop around for what you want. I think it does depend on the area of law that you are practicing in and stuff like that. But it's not that expensive because I was thinking about that too. So
Mhm.
all roads were leading to me taking a plunge, and I'm like, I'm gonna keep coming back to the same situation. So this Friday, I'm telling her like, hey girl, hey, good morning. You know, we would have our things every morning. We had like a little cafe in the building, so we would go down, get coffee, get tea or whatever, and just like prepare our minds for the day. And I'm like, yeah, I can't. Like this, they are tripping in here, and so blah blah blah. She's like, oh, so I went to this and we're in bar organizations and associations, you know, like, and we are in a lot of the same ones, but I don't always have the time to like go to events, right?
Mhm.
And so there was an event the night before this conversation took place, and she's like, you didn't come to wherever we were at last night with the WBA, but I was talking to, and I don't know if I should be saying names, but she's like, I was talking to such and such, and that
Mhm.
person is now a judge, right? And she's like, she knows somebody who's looking for this. And I'm like, she's looking, well, she's looking for someone to get on this criminal law list to like handle misdemeanors. And I said, you know, my ears perked up because like I've been approved to be on this list to do like felonies, right? With
Mhm.
no experience, I could surely do the misdemeanors,
Surely.
and I felt like that would like help me to like transition into whatever I'm supposed to be doing. Because at this point, I'm like, God, what is it? Because this ain't it. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, I'm interested, and I know the judge who she was talking about, right? So I text her like, hey, I talked to Z. She told me you know somebody who's looking for someone to get on his list, and she texts me right back like, hey, she's like, oh my God, you would be perfect. And she's like, and actually it's not even a list, like it's just, she's like, I mean, it's not even a list, it's just like a direct contract. I'm gonna connect you with her. The lady texted me within minutes,
Wow.
okay, within minutes, like,
Wow.
hey, I just got your information from judge such and such. Are you available to talk today? And I'm like, absolutely, I can talk to you after um lunch. It was like
Mhm.
a 10 o'clock in the morning. In my mind, I just blanked out because this was actually on a Friday. So all of this happened. So whatever day conversation I had with dude, that was also, this was the same exact day.
I
The same
do.
day.
Let me ask you something before you continue.
Mm-hmm.
Your connections. You have a lot of
Mm-hmm.
connections. Um, that you have networked yourself into a
Yes.
lot of connections. What is the importance of that for you? What has that? How has that been important in this time frame for you?
It's been so important, and I just got emotional and thinking about it because like networks are so important
Mhm.
because for me, I will be honest and transparent. I didn't take advantage or utilize my network to my advantage this whole time. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? I kind of felt like I don't know if anybody's gonna want to help me or whatever, whatever. I just felt like I had to just get it out the mud, you know what I mean, on
Mhm.
my own.
Mhm.
And in realizing that I
That's
really
good.
do have a network of supporters and people who want to see me win. Like everybody are not is not a crab in a barrel. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I do have people around me who really, really love me and support me and want to see me win. And I have people
Yes.
who have helped me get to where I am right now. And so that was a very important transition that I had to make for myself mentally because I wasn't used to that. You know what I mean? Not in the professional setting. I mean, because I'm new here, I'm like, I see how this is going. But anyway, but that was important. Like having the network and the connections, I would say don't be to anyone who felt like I don't want to ask for help, right? Because that's kind of what it was. Like I don't want to ask anybody to help me. I would maybe was embarrassed or whatever about asking. Don't be
Mhm.
afraid to ask because people are waiting to help. People want to help. And like me as an example, like I will do anything that I can do for the next person trying to come up. You know what I'm saying? So that's very important. And I'm
That's
happy
good
that
because I
I
noticed
was
that
forced.
with you that you attend a lot of functions, that you know a lot of people. But I wanted you to tell the audience how, because even with myself, I'm gonna do it on my own. That's just how I'm wired. But and I'm 60 something, so now I would say to somebody, what you're telling us, you need to network. You need to get to know people and use your network because it can only be to your advantage. And I, like I said, I see you. I know you have your children now. You mentioned Jack and Jill to me, and my sister had her children in Jack and Jill. So I want to talk about that a little bit in a minute. But go ahead, back to
Okay. Yeah, but yeah, so you don't have to do everything on your own. Use your network. No question is a dumb question for real. Like the questions that you have, people have already had the question. So use your network. So this is me using my network, right? And this was I didn't have a choice. I felt like I was forced at this moment, right? I'm like, listen, I can't live in here. I can't survive. I cannot thrive. This conversation happened right after she was like, don't use a paralegal. So this is all happening at the same time, like in real time. Like where are the cameras? It was a crazy day. So I'm like, I could talk to you at noon. So I had to meet with, my supervising attorney. As soon as I got off the phone with her, I mean, out of her office, I text the lady like I'm available. So I go outside, and this is in January, January
26.
31st.
Mm.
It was that Friday, the last Friday
Months
in
ago.
January. And so I went down there. It was the last day, whatever the last day of January was. The last Friday in January,
Okay.
because that Monday was a February 2nd. So anyway, so I go outside and I'm like, hey, and she's like, hey, I got your information from Judge such and such. What you doing now? And I'm like, I'm working in criminal defense in insurance defense. And she's like, do you like it? I was like, I do not. And she was like, okay, so I have an opportunity where we handle these things. So it's like all misdemeanors, like state misdemeanors and arraignments, like all the arraignments in the state of Michigan, I believe. And I'm like, okay, what do I need to do? Mind you, zero criminal defense and experience at all. But I'm like, yes. And she was like, okay, so I have somebody. She's like, so let me ask you, these are unorthodox questions, right? She's like, how old are you? Are you planning on having any babies anytime soon? And I was like,
Wait, what?
not any, no, no. She was like, because, and I was like, not anytime soon. She's like, because all my people keep leaving to have babies. And I was
Oh,
like, oh, okay, well, no, I won't be having no baby no time soon. Hopefully in the next few
I,
years, but no time soon. I won't be having no baby. And she was like, okay, because, she's like, so she was like, this is a Friday afternoon. She was like, call me when you get off work today. I'll, loop you in a conversation with my law partner and we'll get like a start date. And I'm like, perfect, right? But this is, so this, noon, okay? I go back upstairs and I tell Z, like, so I just talked to such and such, like, I text Judge, she texts her friend, she texts me immediately. And she's like, okay, cool, So I still don't even know what the opportunity really consists of. I just know that it's something else. Oh, and one thing that she said that was very important to me.
mm-hmm.
She said, and you will be an independent contractor, you know, and I want you to build up your own business while you do it. She said, all of us build up our own businesses. We all have our other stuff going on, but we are contracted to do these things. And I
Mm.
said, absolutely, and
So you felt peace.
I absolutely felt peace. I was like, because yes, and I had a dream in which, so, sidebar, I
Hmm.
had a dream. I guess I might as well tell the dream because everybody who's watching this did not watch the testimony at church. So I had a dream in which I was on a bus, and you did mention Jack and Jill. So Jack and Jill is not yet public knowledge. I am in a chartering chapter
Hmm.
that we will be voted on for installation in May of this year.
Oh,
I've been
I'm
going through this
sorry.
process. It's okay. I've been going through this process for 2 years.
Okay.
We ain't out yet, but we will be announced this year.
Okay.
But yes, so I had a dream though. I was on this bus. It's a charter bus.
Hmm.
And we're driving, and I'm sitting next to a lady, and I'm talking to this lady, and she's like crying, and she's just telling me about her life and that she was divorced and all of this stuff. And I was like, oh no, I'm so sorry. Like I didn't know, but and so I just started ministering, not really ministering to her about the Lord and stuff, but just talking to her and pouring into her. You know what I'm saying? And she was just
Yes.
like crying and just emotional. And but and I started to share my story with her, like, yeah, because I've gone through this and I've gone through that. So like this is not gonna be forever, like you're gonna I know how it feels right now, but it's gonna pass and yada yada. And so, we're talking low. So I thought, and there are 2 rows ahead of us, there are 2 older black men sitting in the seats, and then one of them just turned around. He was the one on the edge, and he turned around like, I'm so proud of you. no, and he was like, you doing this and you're doing that. And I was like, am I allowed to the lady next to me? Because I'm like, oh my God, like, did I just broadcast my business to the whole bus? Because I'm really just trying to talk to you. Like, oh my God. And then so the man next to him was like, well, what's she doing? That you're so proud of her. And she was like, she's like, no, you weren't allowed to me. And so the man next to him, like, well, what is she doing? And he was like, she's an entrepreneur.
Mm.
And I was like, yes. I said, but I'm actually an attorney. And he was like, that too. Right. And so when I woke up in the morning, I heard entrepreneur 3 times.
Mm.
Entrepreneur, entrepreneur, entrepreneur. So I look it up. And one of the terms that, in the actual definition of an entrepreneur is an independent contractor.
Mm.
So I had this dream that week, right? Then she tells me, you'll be an independent contractor and you'll be able to build up your own business and all of this. And I'm just like, okay, Lord, you know what I'm saying? So whatever is whatever, right? So I go back into work and I'm telling my homegirl, like, hey, so I just talked to her, like, this is going to happen real quick. I don't know when my last day in here is going to be, but it's happening soon.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of the other stuff happened. And
Mm.
even with that, even knowing that I had something potentially like in my hand, in my back pocket, I didn't go off on him. I just let him talk, and I maintain and because integrity is very important to me and my
Mm.
image, and I don't want nobody to be able to say nothing about me, right? So I just let him go off and I let him do his talking and all of that. Friday evening, she was like, oh, I wasn't able to get a hold of my partner, but what about Sunday morning? Are you available Sunday morning? I'm like, absolutely. And again, another unorthodox time, a Sunday at 9 o'clock to have an interview. You know what I'm saying? But I ended up going to clean out my office that Friday. The next day, that Saturday, what month is this? I have a calendar on my desk. I'm trying to
We
see
in
what
March.
day.
This March 23rd, 21st.
Okay, yeah, so I'm looking at the calendar so I can have actual dates. So January 30th is this day that this conversation happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I cleaned out my office January 30th. January 31st, I get an email from this man in the morning.
Mm.
And he's like, and so I'm thinking maybe he's gonna acknowledge that he was out of
Out of
pocket and
order.
inappropriate. Yeah. And he's like, basically, you know what he tried to do? He tried to double down on what he said. Like, okay, so thank you for having a conversation with me yesterday. As discussed, you need to accept accountability for your actions and move on. You need to be here every day in person, outside, and don't let your personal life interfere with work. First of all, the only thing personally that happened was that my children's school, the state mandated schools to close, so I work from home. That's
Mm-hmm.
it.
That's it.
So I'm like, this man is crazy. It pissed me off. Sorry, it made me. I
Hey,
was
it
so
pissed you off. You
upset.
can put this stuff. I don't care.
Okay, it
Yeah.
pissed me off. I was
Mm-hmm.
upset, and I'm like, he is out of his mind. He's out of pocket, and then turns around and sends an email to the whole all attorneys talking about. It just comes to my attention that some people are not being respectful in their tones when they talk to support staff.
What?
So
Oh,
we
so
need
he
to
was
make
gonna throw
sure
you under the
that we
bus.
are. But I wasn't disrespectful to anyone, so I don't know who that email was relative to.
Uh-huh.
But you want to talk about attorneys, how they talk to support staff, but you feel like you could talk to me like I'm a slave in a cotton field? There's
Mm-hmm.
no way. So
Mm-hmm.
Monday morning, which was February 2nd, I went in there, so cute. I had on the cutest little suit I could find. And I was supposed to
Classic.
have a hearing that morning. Oh yeah, then Sunday morning I'm in church. The girl who I was reporting to emailed me like 5 or 6 times, like,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, in this case, we need to do this. We need to." So now you're giving me instructions and how to do this and what to do now, right? 6 emails that I needed to have completed by the 6th of February. This is Sunday morning. Monday morning, I go right in there to HR. Mind you, my office is already cleaned out. I just
Mm-hmm.
go to HR and I'm like, hey, so oh yeah, so then I talked to Sunday. I talked to the lady who I'm in contract with now, and she gave me a start date, which was February 23rd.
Almost a month ago.
So almost a month ago. So then I go to the job on that Monday, and I'm like, this isn't for me. Here's your computer and your dictaphone. I'm out of here.
Not addictive. Okay.
Yes, we use those there. So she was
Wow.
like, "Did anything happen?" I'm like, I told her what
Hmm.
happened, and she's like, "Well, thank you for letting me know because a lot of people just leave and I don't know what happened." I'm like, "Yeah," but she was like, "I like you so much, Tanisha. I wish you all the best. I think you're gonna be wonderful in whatever you do." And she said, um, do you mind me asking what you're gonna do? Like, what is your next move?" And I said, "Well, I'm out on my own. I will never." I said, "No one else will ever have the opportunity to speak to me like that ever again."
Ooh. That is well, that's a life change. This has been a life story for you. You have your
Yeah.
own firm. Now tell me about your firm.
I do have my own firm. So the name of my firm is Pure Gold Advocacy, and you said it so nicely in the introduction. But like I feel like my whole life has been a process of refinement. Like I've been refined by so many processes of fire. And so I know what it feels like to be in the fire, but I know what it looks like when you have come out of the fire, right?
Hmm.
And I feel like advocacy is someone who is in the fire with you, who they aren't getting charred because they've been there, done that. So like I am an advocate for those who are, I guess, in the fire. People don't go to court because they want to go to court. People are in court because they have to be for one reason or another.
Hmm.
And I will always be an advocate for those who are there willingly or unwillingly.
When it's all said and done, Tanisha or Ten, what do you want your name to represent?
Tenacity and integrity.
Tanisha, tenacious, tenacity,
Yeah.
integrity. You are a woman of that. I want to go back to something that we saw at church, but nobody else saw.
Okay.
Maybe, I mean, not all of our viewers have seen.
Mhm.
Now, so now you're a business owner, you're a mother, a lawyer, an attorney. Um, but I heard the man of God call you a prophet, and he had never done that to anybody on earth since I've been there. I've been there 30. How old is Shelby? I've been there 36 years. I ain't never in my life heard him call anybody that. And it looked like it took you by surprise.
He said it. He has said it, and I'm getting emotional. He has said it twice. He has said that twice on the pulpit, and every time I'm like, okay.
Yes, so prophetess Tanisha J.
Mhm.
Wardford. I think that's awesome. But that's a part of your legacy as well. So, you have been through the fire. You've been through divorce. You've been through this job situation, but you always land on your feet. And that's God, that you come out as pure gold. The anointing is on your life. So who are you becoming that younger you needed to see?
Who I'm becoming, that younger me needs to see. Not only younger me, but my daughter needs to see. Is a woman of strength, right? Like I've always been ambitious,
Hmm.
and I've never been afraid of failure, I guess, but that's not 100% true because of course there are fears like what if I fail?
Hmm.
But the motto that I have is I would rather try and fail than to have never tried. Like I would rather know that, oh, that didn't work, as opposed to always wondering what if and what if and what if. And that's how I'm even an attorney today because I'm like, I'm gonna try. No, I'm gonna try, and if it doesn't work, that wasn't it. If it does work, here we are. So I think that it's very important to be to chase after your dreams, but whatever they are, like try. And I don't want my daughter to be afraid of anything. And I'm proud of myself, and I know that the younger me will be proud because I was told at like 7 or 8, you can't be an attorney because attorneys have to lie. And I really took that to be like a law. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't even try to become an attorney until later in life. But anyway, younger me would need to see that really. And I don't want to, okay, my confidence is in the Lord, right? And I am unbreakable. Like everything I put my hands to do, it comes out as pure gold because God spoke and he did not make a mistake when he spoke. He did not make a mistake when he created me. Every
That's right.
mistake that I made was all a part of the plan. You
That's
know,
right.
he used all of it to put me together to be exactly who I am today. And I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't change any of it. I'm so grateful for who he created me to be. And even working in Wayne County, I'm back in Wayne County. Like, I'm back in the city with the people. I absolutely love working in Detroit. I worked at the probate court for 8 years, right? And that's in the Coleman A. Young building. And I loved it. Like, I always wanted to work downtown Detroit. And I had that, right? And so once I became an attorney, I'm like, oh, I'm trying to work in Troy and boom, I was trying to be in the suburbs, and the Lord was like,
Mm-hmm.
no, 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 no. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
put you right back where I want you at.
That's
So
it.
I've worked at the biggest probate court in the state of Michigan, and I'm working at the busiest district court in the state of Michigan. But not only in the state of Michigan, it's the biz. I researched this. I looked it up. It's the
Mhm.
busiest district court in the nation, and
Wow.
it's a lot of people who look like me. It's people who that relate to me. I can speak to them in their vernacular. They understand me. I understand them. You know what I mean? And so God was like, I created you to be just like you are from
Mm-hmm.
Southwest Detroit,
Mm-hmm.
with your disposition, and all of that. And I'm gonna place you where I want you at. And
Mm.
and here I am.
And here you are, a
Yeah.
rose that has blossomed. My gosh. So now it's going to be on to the next, but I got to ask this question before we go. For
Okay.
someone who feels unheard or overlooked right now, what would you say to them? Because people are going through seasons of not feeling seen,
Hmm.
and not just your age group, not just the younger group, but people my age.
Hmm.
So what would you say to them?
I would say that you are not meant to be seen in every season.
Mm. Okay, that's good.
I mean, because I went through some seasons of, feeling hidden and being quiet and working behind the scenes, but all the
Mhm.
while I was getting myself together.
Mm.
I was searching me. So in the season where you feel like you are not being seen, make sure that you are looking at yourself and you're evaluating yourself, your heart, your intentions, and all of that, so that when you do get placed on that pedestal, that you are prepared to be there and that you're
Mm.
not gonna fall off of it. You know what I mean? So in those quiet seasons and the dark seasons, make sure that you are establishing your roots, you're watering your roots, you're taking care of yourself and everything that you need to, so that when the curtains are unveiled, when you are
Mhm.
unveiled and the curtains are open, that you're ready.
Wow, that is phenomenal. That is key wording that you are ready because some of us do not take the time to work on ourselves. We're always trying to get to something else or something that's really not for us. That was, oh my God, that was a profound statement. Every season
It's
is not
prophetic.
for you. Yeah, yes, prophetess. Yes,
I'm just
prophet.
saying.
It was prophetic. It was. Prophetess Attorney Wardford.
Oh my
Yes, it
God.
was. God bless you. What what is one thing this past year has proven to you? I know you mentioned, everything was for a reason, everything was for you to have to deal with even mistakes. God had a plan in those. But what
Hmm.
has been proven to you this past year?
God has proven to me this year. We have that dream when God would do exceeding abundantly, or the word exceeding abundantly beyond what you
Hmm.
can ask or think,
Hmm.
and that has become my reality. I'm living beyond what I could have imagined or thought for my life. Like, to have my own firm, and I don't have a brick and mortar yet, but that's coming, and it's going to be in the city when it does.
Hmm.
But like, I wanted to have my own firm, but I didn't know that it would happen so soon, right? And I
Mm.
had a dream about it over a year ago, honestly, when I went through the process, and
Hmm.
God was waiting on me, really, and He
Yep.
had to send me through all of this stuff to be like, here you go. So like, I'm living. God is done exceeding abundantly above all. He has exceeded my expectations. So that is what I'm living in right now. And this is not even it yet, right? Like, is that part. Like, ooh, because I don't have, Anyway, we'll be here again.
Three. So now let me ask you, how can people contact you? Uh,
People
um,
can contact me. So I do have social media handles for the firm, but like, I'm still building everything up. But if
okay.
you go to puregoadvocates.com, then you can definitely see the site and reach out to me. again, I'm still building it up, and I'm working, doing a lot of things in criminal law right now. So the pure gold advocacy is being built up. But yeah, that's how they can contact me. puregoldadvocates.com, or I'm still Tanisha Janae on socials too. So you know,
This is
always
awesome
reach
to
out.
me. I'm almost in tears because we talked about this last year. This was like a 10-year plan. You had a 10-year plan on the last episode. Man, it was a year later.
A year
Literally a year
later.
later. You are a business owner with your own law firm that's only gonna blow up. We already know this. So we'll be at part 3, y'all. Tanisha, it has been a joy having you again. Thank you for being on this show. Next time we're going to probably be in a different place. Um, but thank you for coming on. And thank you for joining us for another episode of Giving Them Something to Talk About. And we will talk to you soon. Bye.